All right, shalom, shalom, everyone. This is Yisrael with another class from the School of Knowledge, and we're continuing our lesson that we did last week. We want to say shalom, shalom to everyone. We were actually talking about the importance of understanding the behaviors that we have engaged in Israel. You know, living in this society in a captive mind, we have put a lot of things in play that shouldn't be. And we went through the Old Testament last week, and now I want to deal with the New Testament and the penalties. And we're going to wrap this up tonight as much as we can. We're going to go to, let me open this up real quick. We're going to go to the book of Romans, which is where we are in the New Testament that deals with those same type of sins. And let me make sure everybody can see the screen. And the reason why we're doing this is because there is a lot of things that our young people are out there doing that they have no business doing. And we talked about some of this stuff on the women's call last week, and it was an eye-opener for me. I really kind of thought I was pretty well-versed on the things that are happening in the world, and being young and being out there and engaging myself with different types of people in different types of things. You kind of think that you kind of know a little something. But after Tuesday, I realized that, you know, that I really, there's some things we have to learn. So, I wanted to go over this, and I appreciate the men and the women's feedback on this situation because our young people have to hear this. And, I sent some emails out today to some of the people that I had in my phone so that you guys could kind of look at, and I thought it was very well put together how they put that email together, that YouTube clip together about sexual sins. I think I sent it out in my messenger, through my messenger on my phone, about the dangers of getting involved in sexual sins out here with people, and we have to encourage our young people at all possible to be abstinent, to practice that, because that is very important, especially now, because, you just don't know who you're dealing with, and it's so serious now that you really just know. So, I think that this is important. So we're gonna start at Romans chapter 1, then we're going to go back into the Old Testament because there's some things that I have to show you in terms of different, and this is male and female. So we dealt with we dealt with adultery, we dealt with incest, we dealt with fornication, we dealt with all of those sins that are forbidden by Yah to be able to do. And now it just seems like it's a spirit unleashed. Nobody's really concerned about their life, whether they're going to live, what they're doing out there to their bodies. And it's like, let's just have a good time today. We'll deal with tomorrow. And some of these things will follow you for the rest of your life. Some things you won't, you're not going to be able to shake. And there's so many things out there now that you won't be able to shake. And we have to be able to tell Israel, look, we are doing all of this to get us prepared to go home. Yah is coming to get us. He's coming to get his people. And it would behoove you to try to straighten some of this stuff out now. Because the scriptures already say that when we get back there, we're going to be ashamed of the things that we have done. And just because everybody else is doing it don't mean we have to do it. We have to separate ourselves. And that is the reason why we have a men's call on Tuesday night and we have a women's call on Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is an opportunity for us to build our nation. So I encourage you all that are on this line, that are married, that have husbands, to encourage them to join the call. It's anonymous. You don't have to give your name. You can come on the call. You can talk about men issues, how to be a better father, how to be a better husband, how to be a better son, how to be a better whatever you need to be. They deal with all of those issues, so that we can start healing ourselves. Because every time you look around, we're seen in a negative light. We always the ones joking and jesting and making other people laugh by acting like we foolish, like we don't have no good sense. We always the ones on TV half-dressed with our titties hanging out and our butts hanging out everywhere. It's always us. And it's time for that to stop because we are royalty. And the things that have been done, they will pay you money for you to get on TV with no clothes on. And it's come a time when they have to just say, no, I'm not going to do that. And it's all for the sake of influencing our children. So we're royalty. We're kings and queens and prince and princesses by blood. We are the chosen people of Israel. Our God is God. There's nobody else above him. He is God. And it's his people that's out there on TV half naked, or trying to be a pimp, or walking around looking crazy, or strung out on drugs. His people. It's all by design, I'm telling you. So I wanted to touch base in Romans because a lot of people will say, well, you just dealing with the Old Testament. The Old Testament done away with. All the scriptures you put in there was from the Old Testament. Well, let's go to the New Testament. Romans chapter 1, verse 18. It says, for the wrath of Yah is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men.
You still have us on pause.
Do I have you on pause? I'm sorry. It says, in truth and in righteousness. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
So I'm going to do it again. It says, for the wrath of Yah is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. And you know why that is because nobody's being an example. You can't find it from the pastors. You can't find it from the politicians. You can't find it on television. You know, everything that you look at is like we're watching pornographic movies. Sex scenes are everywhere. You can't watch a decent program because it seems like a spirit has been unleashed. Let's keep going. Here we go. Because that which may be known of Yah is manifest in them, for Yah has showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew Yah, they glorified him not as Yah, neither were thankful. And that is exactly true. Because when we was in our own land and we did what we did, we acted like he didn't exist. We went and serving all kind of other guys doing all kind of crazy stuff. Watch. But became vain in their imagination, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. And changed the glory of the uncorruptible Elohim into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. And we still dealing with that today. I went in the church, this chick had a big old dove lit up in the ceiling. They got a fish on their car to represent the Ruach. Please. Wherefore Yah also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own heart, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. That says a lot. We got to watch what we do. He gave them up to uncleanness. Oh, listen to them. They hanging up now, boy. They don't want to hear that. Watch. Who changed the truth of Yah into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. For this cause, Yah gave them up unto vile affection, for even their women, now listen at this, listen to the LGBT, even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And the only reason why we on this today, because we at the end of the call. And I purposely put this way so that nobody would say, oh, you just dealing with homosexual. This covering it all. We got to get it together. Now, this is what I want to say. It is our responsibility to tell you. We already dealt with the watchman on the wall. The watchman has a responsibility to tell you. Once we tell you, our hands is clean. We probably won't even do this no more. This type of topic right here. Once we put this on the internet, our hands is clean. The reason why we're doing this is to let you know that the world is trying to tell you it's okay to do all these things, and you still are going to be accepted by Yah. That is not the truth. These things will get you cut off. So do we have to put forth effort to try to stop? Absolutely we do. Do that mean we love you? Absolutely we do. Under no circumstance, we love you. We wouldn't be doing all this if we didn't. We want our family to be saved and our family to be put back together. Are we praying for you? Absolutely we are. As I hope you are praying for me, because I need help. I got my own issues. I need you to constantly pray for me. Watch. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another. This is love. Watch what it says. Men with men working that which is unseemly and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was meet. And even as they did not like to retain Yah in their knowledge, Yah gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. We don't ever want our people to be in that position because of the way that the world is structured today, that everything is okay. Because I'm going to tell you something, that's how we got here in the first place. We let them convince us that it was okay to worship their gods when we were warned not to do that. Now, if you make this choice to do this anyway, that's your choice. You have to make that. If you make your choice to live this way, and this is how you want to live, that is absolutely your choice. We just want you to know what the repercussions are going to be. Watch. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, remember we talked about that earlier, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, and whisperers, backbiters, haters of Yah, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, and disobedient to parents. Y'all, all this go together. It'll all go together.
That's what most of the headlines are
Say
showing.
that again.
That's where the headlines show all of that. Headlines.
Yes. Yes. This is the world we live in today. There's no restrictions. It's no boundaries. Everything and anything goes. People don't even realize the danger of being disobedient to their parents. I know some young ladies today cuss their mothers out. Cuss out their fathers. It was just in the news not too long ago where this man killed his own father. Here. The wickedness that has hit the earth is just gone too far. It's gone too far. Anybody have a comment?
His word has to come to pass.
Yeah, it's got to come to pass. And guess what we have to do? We have to teach our children the importance of not engaging in any of these things.
One of the things we know is that
obedience to parents is the first commandment with promise. And by extension, our obedience to our Father is a commandment with promise.
Absolutely. What did he say? He said, honor thy mother and father, that thy days may be long on the earth.
Oh, yes.
Now these days, these kids think they equal with you.
So true.
Watch, he said, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of Yah, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. He said, it ain't just you. It's not the fact that they do them, but they encourage everybody else to do them.
Oh, yes.
These things are serious. He is trying to, his initial plan was to choose us, that we would be a nation that would be set apart from the rest, that we would worship him and be the example in the earth. And because we've been here, we've gotten caught up in all kinds of things that we have to divorce. And like we said before, anything that you've done in your flesh, it's going to be a struggle coming out of it, but you got to try. It's no different than being strung out on drugs. It's no different than being overly obese with food. And you got to just tell them, I don't eat that no more. I'm not going to do that no more. If sugar is your issue, don't eat it anymore. And if people can stop smoking crack, guess what? We can stop doing this. It just takes an effort. And yes, sometimes it feels like I got to have it. I remember telling my mom once, I said, I can't be without a man. She said, yes, you can. I was young. She said, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You think you can, but yes, you can. And today I can honestly tell you, yes, you can. You need to take the time and clear your mind and repent and clear your soul. Mm-hmm. So when that right one comes along, you're ready to deal with that. You got to have it. But because the world makes us think, and I remember one of the ladies was on here once before, and she said that she was at the doctor's, and she told the doctor that she was celibate. The lady laughed in her face. She laughed. The doctor laughed in her face. You know why? Because the world is wicked. Like, that's not a badge of honor. I feel sorry for you. You ought to be. That's terrible that you're not sexually active. You don't have to be. There's no law that says you have to be. Anybody have any other questions? Anybody have any questions or comments?
One of the things I will say, if they have anything that's driving you to do something, it's not the Spirit of God. He works outside of time. He's not bound by anything. He's a still, small voice. So if you just have a compulsion to engage in sexual activity, you have a compulsion to do something that's detrimental to your body, it's not the Most High that's driving you. You have to think it's the enemy of your soul. And it says he goes around seeking whom he may devour. And so one of the other things I think about this is when we talk about these spirits, and there are spirits, that when we have a clean vessel, we start out with a clean vessel, and we fill it up, and maybe we have been able to put aside some stuff. If we don't watch it, we will have more entities, more spirits that attach themselves to us, and then you are going to have difficulty getting it cleared out. So the best thing is to remain clear in the first place, but if not, make a concerted effort to get all of those things out of your life that are going to separate you from the Most High. And I, as you said, I struggle with things myself, and sometimes I'm thinking, Father, I'm glad I wasn't born a man. Because sometimes when I think about the things I've struggled with, I'm thinking, man, it's a difficult thing. But on the other hand, we have the power from the Most High to resist. We resist things, and we can actually, it says, it will flee from us. But the thing is we have to take a stand. We have to be willing, and we have to take a stand. We have to acknowledge what it is that we're in, and we have to have a knowledge of what it is that's out there. I think part of what happens is we don't understand the kinds of things that are going on.
That's true.
Around us and what people are engaging in, and we innocently come in contact with this stuff, and it can attach itself to us. And we've been eased into this. I can remember when there were some things that as a child I'd never even heard of, and if I did hear it in passing, it's something that was shunned by the entire community, regardless of what they profess. But now people who make professions are engaging things that people who made no professions at one time wouldn't touch. And it's because we've had this slide toward immorality, so that all of the things that were once deemed immoral by everyone are now deemed moral by most people. And so it's hard to see because we've just been lulled, like they say, like a frog that's been put in the water and it's boiling. You don't understand that you're cooking, that you're just becoming immune and unseeing to the things that we're not supposed to be engaged in, because compared to what other people are doing, it may not seem so bad. But the thing is we're told to abstain from it, and then we can remain clean before the Most High. He will not inhabit a filthy vessel. He will not deal with us with a bunch of crap in us.
The truth.
So,
you telling the truth, and if that's the case, and he's not going to deal with anything that's in us that's unrighteous, you got to wonder and ask yourself today, with all of these people that are out here professing to be leaders, spiritual leaders and whatever, who are you talking to? What spirit are you dealing with? Because only you know what you're doing in the closet that don't nobody else know, or that the rest of the people that do know are hiding from the congregation. So when you get out with this anointing or whatever you guys want to call it, who's giving it to you? He said being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, I'm reading it again, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder. I know so many jealous women. I mean women jealous. They wake up in the morning with a jealous attitude. They're competitive. They're sneaky. Jealous for no reason at all whatsoever. Just an envious spirit. And it's like, how do you get a spirit like that? Nasty attitude. Want to be out in the front. And it's like, well, if you want to be out there, go out there. Murder. They said if you have a jealous spirit, you'll kill. Debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of Yah. This one guy told me one time, he said, I don't care nothing about him. I said, oh, that's a dangerous place to be. He said, I don't care nothing about him. I said, you know what, I've said a lot of things, but that has never come out of my mouth. Deceitful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things. It's normal now to have a sex party. They got sex toys and all kind of stuff out there that people are engaging in. Disobedient to parents. Oh, they didn't expect that was going to be there.
Yep. All manner of evil.
Yeah.
Shalom, can everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
There was a young man on the news about a week ago. Actually, it's been all over the news for the past week, I would say. He shot his entire family because he got in trouble for leaving outside the house. He was a black guy, 17 years old. He got in trouble by his parents for leaving outside the house without their permission. He left and got a gun and came back and shot the parent. The little brother said he was downstairs and they heard the gunshots, and when he came down the stairs, he started shooting at his siblings. The older siblings took off running, so he would chase them, and the baby boy survived. The baby boy told on him. He said, my brother did it. His brother shot his parents, and they had a friend over there that was 17 years old, and she was pregnant with a baby. Killed her and that baby.
Wickedness, just wickedness. Pure wickedness. Because these are the things that we are promoting. And that's what you get when you allow society to determine how a child is supposed to be raised. There's no fear. They have no fear in Yah. They have no fear against their parents. They don't want any authority. Everybody want to do whatever they want to do and don't stand in my way.
And they promote it as well because right now the show Power, that's the biggest part of the show that everybody talk about is how Malik killed his father. On the show, he became the man because he took his dad out in the show. They promoting it, definitely. The actors, everybody, they're promoting it.
Yeah, and they paying them to. They're paying them to promote this stuff. And our children are watching this, and they're imitating these things, and they don't know that he has already sealed his fate. He's done. And black people are getting paid to manipulate the nation, the rest of the nation, by the things that they do. That's why we have to limit what our children are allowed to see and what they can't. Now, you can't control every moment of it, no, but you got to put forth an effort. Because some of these children are being raised to be sociopaths. They are. Anybody else? Nobody wants to put forth the effort. This boy done killed his whole family.
There are just so many things that are going on. One of the things that I understand with that story is I think he went back to his girlfriend's house. I don't know if that's where he had come from and where he had wanted to stay. But, we're being taught that people are expendable. That, and we're not being taught the consequences of what it means to take someone's life. We're not being taught that there is an eternal consequence and there is a physical, tangible consequence. But it's because we have been taught to devalue people. And the thing is that if you feel that way about someone else, it actually can reflect how you feel about yourself. Because if you really valued yourself, you would be able to extend that same kind of valuation to somebody else because you could see your humanity in them. But one of the things it also does is, as Israelites, we have suffered historically from being terrorized and murdered. And so now, instead of actually knowing who our enemy is, has historically been, we're looking at each other as the enemy and doing what the enemy once did to us, doing it to ourselves. But part of it is by not drawing boundaries and not making children and even adults aware of what our value is as humans to each other and in the eyes of the Most High. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just sitting here in a way kind of speechless because one of the things that it really comes down to is we have to really start looking at what the Most High says, how we're supposed to regard ourselves and how we're supposed to regard other people. We're supposed to love ourselves, and we're supposed to extend that same level of love and consideration to other people. We're not supposed to do unto others as we wouldn't want them to do unto us. We're supposed to. We are really supposed to be the model in how we treat ourselves, and have that be how we treat other people. And we're just not being taught that. I've never watched Power because my TV has been unplugged for months and months. It hasn't even been on this year. So I don't know what Power is. When you tell me that there's a show where the child kills the father, and I'm presuming that these people are Israelites, it's just horrific. Because one of the things, and we don't have anything telling us that this is the very thing that the Most High abhors. He's not going to accept it. A life for a life. Do we think that principle is still not in effect?
It sure is, sis. You better believe that's the truth, and because, I was talking to a young lady that I work with, and she asked me a question. I told her I used to be a foster parent, and she asked me a question about parenting. And I think the biggest thing is, gone are the days, do what I tell you to do and don't ask me no questions. That's over with. We're going to have to start talking to our children. Our children are too intelligent now to just say, just because I tell you to do it, you do what I tell you to do. No, you're going to have to sit down and explain to them, this is what it is, and this is the consequences for it. The reason why I don't want you to do these things is because of this, and this. Now, if you do them, this is what's going to happen. And you cannot let your guard down under any circumstances. They need to understand who Yah is and what he requires of us as a people, and to understand that I am the parent. I'm the one birthed you in this world. Can you imagine somebody walking up and shooting their own mother? Even the father. But it's gone are the days. Like I said, look, one thing that I've learned is that you're not going to yell your way through this thing. Because when they get to a certain age, you have to talk to them. They have to understand certain things. Because the world is talking to them. They're going out into the world. They're meeting children that have been raised all kind of ways. And you have to sit down and talk to them and be able to tell them, look, these are the rules, and you have to learn how to follow the rules. Yah has rules. The world has rules. Everybody has rules. You're not going to just do what you want to do. Now, if you break my rules, then these are the consequences. And do it in love. And I have to say this, too, that a lot of people have to learn how to be parents. Because some people intimidate their children. Some people bully their children. I mean, it's really serious. We need an overhaul of the whole thing, because we just can't blame the kids either, because sometimes some of the parents have brought some of this behavior onto their children. They got favorites. Oh, this is my favorite. Well, what do you think that does for the rest of the other children? So we have to learn how to be parents, and it's just time for us to take over the helm and teach and treat them like young adults, and to begin to change the way we do things so that we can get the respect that's required, because some of them just ain't going to give it just because.
You should never do to your children anything that you don't want done to yourself. Never.
Well, that's fine.
Just say anything to them. Don't want said to them. And the thing is, you win with love. My mom, when she raised us, she was a single parent. One of the things that we used to say, we don't know what we could do to make her disown us. But here's the other thing. She used to whip us, and I'm serious, she never forgot. She would tell you why she was getting you, but she did not let you get away with stuff. If she felt that you were disobedient, if she felt that you were out of line, and I actually have a scar to this day, she did not play. But I knew that she loved me. I knew that she'd lay down her life for me. She never called me names. She would tell us, you're good kids, but you could be better. That was her criticism of us. But we loved her. I hated her spankings. I feared her. I certainly didn't cross her. But I also knew that she loved me, and she never disciplined us when she was angry. And I remember once she came back and she apologized to us because she disciplined us, and she says, I was wrong. So she came back and apologized, and I remember that. But I also remember her waiting a day or two because she was so furious. But she never, ever disciplined us when she was angry, and she never called us names. And the things, my mother died when she was 40, and I am in my 60s. And I'm thinking, what a wise woman. I don't understand where she got her wisdom from. But she was a wise woman because she raised us. And I take these lessons, so I know that these things can be taught, but I also know that they go with you over a lifetime, because my siblings and I, we have never fractured. The family never fractured. She died when I was in my early 20s, and I am the oldest one in the family. My brother, I believe, was 18 at the time. We have hung together like glue because of the way that she raised us as a single parent. So the thing is that what's happening in Israel can be reversed. It doesn't have to be. You win your children with love. Make it so that they love you so much that they are not willing to hurt you. But the way that they know that is you love them so much that you're not willing to hurt them. And when you do something, they understand, I don't think this is right. And they can tell you, I don't think this is right, but you tell them, this is why I'm doing it. And you set the rules out so they know where their parameters are. They know what it is they can do and cannot do. Mm-hmm. And so when they do it, then they know there's a consequence for that. Well, and this is what the consequence is. And she never let us off. I think once she told us, I've decided I'm not going to get you this time because we had done something. And look, she would tell us, we'd be somewhere, and she said, I'm going to deal with this when I get home. Oh my God, gosh, the day is ruined because we knew she was not going to forget.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to forget. She never raised her voice and yelled or anything like that. She never showed out in public. But when we got home, we know there's a reckoning. And if it didn't come that day, we knew it was coming because
yeah, and that's true. I mean, all of those.
He didn't forget, and it's the most high. I mean, he exemplifies this. We are in this situation because he told us, and he told us what the consequences would be. He gave us a chance, and we thought, oh, we'll run from Portugal, we'll go to this place, we'll go to that place. But when the time came, it was time for a reckoning. He is constant, and that's the way that we should be as parents. That's the way that we should be when we deal with each other. Our word should be our bond. When we say something, keep our promise to each other so that we can trust each other. Absolutely. Israel can change.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%, and that's how we have to start. And like I said again, that's why we have the classes that we have, because we have to learn how to be good parents. We have to learn how to be good role models and how to handle our children, because there's no book to this. You have to learn how to be a good husband and how to have a wife and how to love each other, because the world is out there to teach you the opposite of everything that y'all. This is the things that they do. This is what they promote. They promote sexism and all the things. But let me get to the good stuff, because we can ready to get to the real good stuff, because this is a topic that we talked about in the women's class on Tuesday. And I told him, I said, I don't know how to bring this to them, but I'm just going to tell you guys there are some things that our children and grown-up adults that are our age are out there doing sexually to each other that is completely, when I tell you completely disgusting and completely despicable, it's completely disgusting and completely despicable. And I want to share it with you. There's something out there that they're doing today. Hold on. It's called rimming. And this is one of them things where, and I know this is going to get a little graphic for some folks, but the reason why we're doing this today is because you need to talk to your children. You need to talk to your young adults. You need to talk to your young men, and you need to talk to your young women about these kind of things right here, because they've gone beyond the scope. They've gone beyond. And now I understand, like I said on Tuesday, why only 2/3 is going to make it. Rimming, the term refers to anal foreplay with the tongue. It's specifically licking, penetrating, sucking, kissing, or otherwise orally stimulating your partner's anus.
Oh,
this is
come on.
I know this is a little graphic, but I mean, now I understand why the Most High wanted me to put this together, because this is the things that our children are engaging in with each other. And this is not a homosexual thing. This is what heterosexuals are doing. Somebody told me it's all on Love and Hip Hop and it's all over the television. They showing our children how to do this. Are you doing this on the Sabbath, Yaina? Yes, I am. I'm being obedient to Yah, because this is what he told me to deal with, is these kind of things right here. People of all genders, listen to this, sexual orientation have been engaging in anal play for centuries. They say it goes back to the ancient Greek pottery dating back 500 BC. So is there anything new under the sun?
No, that's what that was.
This is what they doing. And I remember Brother Donion brought up oral sex one time. It's way worse than this. It's way worse than that. There's no boundaries anymore. People do whatever they want to do, whatever they feel big enough to do.
But you see, like you said, that goes back to the ancient Greek days. Why you think that the Romans had all them freaky looking statues of the guy posing and this and that and all? And remember Spartacus and all them guys in there? They were super freaks, and that was just business as usual, because that's like a cult and so on and so forth. That ain't nothing new underneath the sun.
Nothing. But guess what? You don't want your granddaughter doing this. You don't want your grandson engaged in this kind of behavior. But like we said, because it's on TV and they see it, black people doing this to each other, everybody want to experiment. This the Most High will burn. He will kill you for some stuff like this. It gets worse. He said, in addition to common sexually transmitted infections such as herpes and warts, which can be passed on via type of oral sex, venturing that little bit further to experiment with that area does increase your risk of contracting specific infections carried within fecal matter.
Why you think over there in Europe and all, remember the two words, plague? Them people that washed their hands, they were nasty. Nasty.
Well, they doing it now here. And this is what our young people are doing to each other here. Right now, today. This is what they show them on television, on these black shows. And like I said earlier, I thought I had a little experience. I thought I did, but I mean, when this came up, I was like, oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? It says the potential dangers. There's dangers involved with infecting your partner. Because we all got kids. We all have grandkids. We have children. We have young adults. We have junior high kids. We have got to be able. It's time to step up now. We got to do something about this. This is not acceptable. Are we not going to have no nation? I'm just going to be honest with you. Ooh, it's got. And see, you know. I don't know. Let's finish. I'm going to get to this point. It says hepatitis A is a common viral infection which can cause inflammation of the liver and can make you feel very unwell. That's one of the things they say you can get. Bacterial infection, salmonella, shigella, E. coli, and what is that, Campylobacter, is all bacterial infections that can cause diarrhea, abdomen pain, fever, which is also transmitted via being able to do that down there. I don't even want to repeat that no more. I know this is a little rough. I hear the older ladies talking about, Lord, it's real. This is real, sis. Everybody listen. This is happening. And I won't even say it's the new thing that they're doing. They've probably been doing it all along. But this is happening. This is happening for real. And then people kissing on each other now. Can you imagine? It says parasitic infections. This is just nasty. But this is what our children are engaging in today. And they put this kind of stuff on TV, on these black shows.
Trying to corrupt everybody, you know?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are, because guess what? If they can keep Israel from lining up with the laws of their Elohim, they will never be the people that they are. And if they can get them young, we got a problem. We got a problem. Sodomy. This is another thing. Guess what? Take it away from the homosexuals. It ain't just a homosexual thing. They doing it to each other. To each other. Deuteronomy 23:17, there shall be no whores of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. We can't engage in those type of things. And now, you know what, it's so common with sexual activity between a man and a woman that the men are introducing it to the females. I remember I was telling a young man about that. I said, that is totally against. He said, ain't nothing wrong with that. He said, thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Most High, that thy Elohim, for any vow. For even both these are abominations unto the Most High thy Elohim. But in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 3, it says, but fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becoming saints, neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. For this ye know that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man who is an idolater has any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of Yah. You ain't going nowhere. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of Yah upon the children of disobedience. See, ain't nobody reading this stuff no more. We cannot engage in these things. And you'd be surprised at how many people are engaged in all what we just read. You'd be surprised that the STD clinics is full. They don't say nothing about it because they don't want you to know. It says, be not ye therefore partakers with them. That's going to bring the wrath of Yah. Anybody have any comments? Questions or concerns? Now is the time.
I will say the reason we're seeing this is because we are not living according to the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. Fornication, adultery, all manner of uncleanness. We are supposed to set this stuff away from us. Be it vaginal sex, anal sex, no matter what it is, we are supposed to keep the temple clean. We are supposed to engage in sexual activity with a partner that we have made a lifetime commitment to. We are supposed to model how things are set out. Now, I don't blame children because that we teach them by example. If we allow them to see things, TV models behavior. It's an agent of socialization. It's how they learn what is normative in a society. So one of the things that we're doing is then we don't tell them, television will tell them, their peers will tell them. They will get their training from any number of sources. A lot of it is erroneous. A lot of it is detrimental. But if we do not tell them it's wrong, they will not know. And more than that, we have to give them guidelines. We have to give them a hedge of protection because it's not enough to say don't do it. We have to empower them to be able to say don't do it, which is why we need a nation, which is why these laws have to be in effect, because it said, as an Israelite, we do not do this. But as an American citizen, you can do it. Everybody is doing it. And in fact, it's being legalized. Why would they not do it when they're being told that you're free to do whatever you want? You know, we were talking in the women's class, and as I said, one of the things that we're operating under is witchcraft. Do as thou wilt and do harm to none. This is the creed of witchcraft. This is how we live in our society. No, if you can do it and it doesn't harm anybody else, it's not against the law, you do it. That's witchcraft, because the Most High says that is not how we live our lives. I have commandments for you. These commandments are put in place so that we will have laws that govern us as a nation, so that children living within the confines of that nation know we do not do this. And more than that, I can't do it because the people around me will not allow me to do it. It will not be sanctioned. But if some people allow it and some people don't, then you have a very weak structure. But we have to have uniformity. We have to have a clear understanding of what is and is not acceptable. We have to be a nation within a nation. So that means that we do not have the luxury of saying the law is done away with. No. If the law is done away with, that means that you can do as thou wilt and do harm to none, because what they're saying is under the blood, it can all be just taken care of. But there is nothing that's going to take away a lifetime STD. There's nothing that's going to take away the memory of you doing something that you really didn't want to, but you did not have either the strength or the understanding or the guidance to say no. And it also needs to be practiced. This is what we do. Why do we not do it? Because we're Israelites. Why do we not do it? Because the Most High said don't do it. Why do we not do it? Because there's a consequence. Why do we not do it? Did you see what happened to them? That's why you don't do it. But if you cannot point to people, because it is not put in the news, and I spend a lot of time online. I don't watch TV. But I don't see this kind of stuff being put about as to what the consequences of this behavior is. A lot of it is lauded. We idolize people who are engaged in this kind of behavior. And when I say we as a nation, and then we export it around the world so that wherever we go, it's reinforced. That's what they expect of us as Israelites and as people coming from this nation, because it's a lawless nation. It was created based on lawlessness, and it's run based on lawlessness. Even though that they say there are laws in place, those laws violate the laws of the Most High, and the Most High's laws trump their laws. They are lawless. And when we follow their laws and they go against the Most High, we are lawless.
And I'm so glad you said that, because you know what? Now you understand why when he comes, he's not going to have no mercy. He's not going to have no mercy. None. And these are the things that our young men are doing to our young women, or introducing to our young women. And some of the women are introducing it to our young men, because somebody done showed them how to be lawless. You're right about that. I mean, you hit that nail on the head. I mean, that is the truth. That's how bad it is. That's right up there. That's as low, right up there to having sex with an animal, in my opinion. But like you said, over here, all the laws are passed. You can do whatever you want to do over here, and bet not nobody say nothing about it. But then they have it on the dollar, in God we trust. Which one you talking about? Because it can't be this one that we just read about. It can't be him.
You see, that's why they got two laws, God's law and man's law. Which do you think is the real thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Clearly. Because this stuff is just terrible. I was like, I cannot believe that people are engaged in these type of things. But in God we trust. That's why they don't never give him a name. That's why he's hid behind a title, because that way they don't have to explain who they talking about. But over here, we call him by his name. His name is Yah. And he don't condone none of that foolishness at all whatsoever. That's why they say God and they don't say nothing else. They don't ever say, oh, God, we love God. Who are you talking about? Who? And again, you have the choice to do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. But like she said, there are consequences behind the things that you are doing. And just know that what they feeding you and telling you that the one in that Bible is accepting of all this, he is not. It's bad, you guys. It's bad. Now I understand why he wanted me to do this, because it's bad out there. It is bad out there. And they've always been doing it, but it's just ramped up. It's been amped up now to the nth degree. It's just commonplace. Not to mention multiple partners in the same bed doing to each other whatever. Not to mention that. This is what's being introduced to our young people. And then the one lady in the women's class was like, y'all ain't, bless her little heart. She was like, that's why you got to raise the women to be very pious and, and the virgins and to be sweet, and to be clean and righteous. I said, that's a beautiful thing. It is. But you got to worry about the wolves that they run into when they get out in the street, because this is what they're going to introduce them to. This is what it has come to.
This is why he says you only marry Israel. But the thing is Israel has to be raised right. They have to be worthy of those women. You cannot just roll up on a woman and have her. And you cannot, I don't know exactly what's going on, but my thing is, I was watching some marriage ceremonies online, and the thing that I was watching, I think it was Amish. The thing I really liked about what they did, it was a declaration that they made to each other. It was public. It was sanctioned by the community, and those people within the community knew who they were and would hold them to a standard of behavior that they could not deviate without being tossed out of the community. So they could not misuse and hurt each other, because it wasn't going to be tolerated. But the expectation that they had of each other was high, and the expectation that the community had of them was high. So they couldn't have people coming from outside taking and misusing the women who were raised right, or coming from outside and misusing the men who weren't aware of all of the other stuff that these other women might have been exposed to coming from outside. So it's a protected area, and that's what the Most High says. He says, I will offer you a sanctuary. I will offer you protection, but you must do what I say, because therein lies your protection. Therein lies the boundaries that are going to keep you safe. That is how you're going to know how to treat each other. That's the reason people are going to want to come in amongst you, because in you they're going to find sanctuary from all of the mess that they found outside. They're not going to do it if they come within Israel, and Israel is doing the same thing that they're doing outside. Israel is a holy people. Israel is a set-apart people, not because they look peculiar or act peculiar, but because they act in accordance with the laws, and the laws are ultimately based on love, because he says, love your neighbor as yourself. Love starts by knowing who you are, valuing who you are, knowing that the Most High loves you, and then according that same level of love and consideration to everybody else. That way you don't have to worry about somebody misusing you and abusing you, because the thing that you expect from them is the same thing that they give to themselves, and you in turn will give that. It's a great way to live, because you don't have to worry about some unexpected slap, be it figurative or literal, coming out of nowhere. You can rest in safety knowing that when I go amongst this group of people, I am going to be harbored from physical hurt and from spiritual hurt and from hurt that comes from nasty words. I will not stay around people that are going to berate me or belittle me. You have maybe one or two times, and when I figure out it's deliberate, I'm done.
But
it's not going to happen. I'm not going to tolerate it. But the thing is, I'm not going to treat you that way either. And if I do, by chance, hurt you, I am going to come back and apologize. Because the Most High says you're going to be held accountable if you do harm to your brother or sister. This is how I was raised. But the thing is this is not what we see being modeled. But the thing is, as I said, stuff can be learned because it's right there in the scriptures. We just don't live it. We act like there's exceptions. When I get mad, I can do this. No, you can't. No. You know, when Moses struck that rock because he was angry, did the Most High let him go? No. There's a consequence for the nonsense that people do. They don't understand. Your child doesn't want to obey you. Your child doesn't want to be around you. Your child doesn't love you the way you think that they should love you, or they're not bonded with you. What have you done? My goal with my son was to make my son fall in love with me. Love me, because I told him I love you with a passion. If I could choose anybody, I'd choose you. And when my son died, I did not have regrets because I had mistreated him or misused him. A lot of that came out of the fact that I had to fight to keep him, but it made me value him, and I think it's such a blessing. I thank the Most High so often for the things he allowed me to go through so I would know how valuable my son was, and by extension how valuable I was, because he allowed me to be his mother. He allowed me to keep him. It's the same thing. He has allowed us to exist as a people. He has allowed us to come to a knowledge of who we are. And now he is saying, love each other the same way I've loved you. I am bringing you out of this mess, but I'm not bringing you out of mess to bring you back into mess. When you come to me, you're going to have to leave this crap behind. He's giving us a chance right now to do it the easy way, or he says he's going to deal with the rebels. We'll do it the easy way, or we'll do it the hard way. But we're going to do it if we come to him.
Now, but check this out. A lot of people, like one of the sisters said the other day in the class, she said, but they say the marriage bed is undefiled. And they believe that whatever you do in the marriage bed, it's allowed. That's not true either. You don't
not true.
Whatever you want to do to anybody just because they're your wife or your husband. You're going to be judged by the things that you do.
It doesn't make sense. Why would you do something to someone that's going to compromise the integrity of their body? When you talk about anal sex, they talk about fecal incontinence. You can talk about anal cancer. You can talk about any number of things. You can talk about diseases that when you do oral sex are transferred to the mouth, and the public can see them, or they're internal. You can see them. You can talk about throat cancer. There is an increased incidence of throat cancer from the increase in oral sex. And then all of the other things that come along with it, because people do all kinds of stuff. And believe me, I'm aware of a lot of the stuff that people do because I'm a very curious person. But the thing is this, it's not sanctioned, and there are consequences. But that's not publicized. That's not publicized. But you know what? Be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. You are going to reap what you sow.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. All right.
And you cannot do harm to somebody else just because the marriage bed is sacred. Not when you know that it's going to compromise the physical well-being of your partner. No, you can't.
Absolutely. All right. Anybody else?
This is what she's saying about people. Think about it. What person would be doing such vulgar, lewd stuff? And like you said about the children, yeah, you got these channels out there. I'm not going to mention one. It's just two numbers, that's 4 and 5. That's supposedly our station. That is not our station. That station is run wrinkled up old Jewish guys. They do not have our best interest at heart. We know it, and they know it, but then somehow our people just can't help themselves. They have no self-control, no respect for themselves. You got to love, like the sister said, you got to love yourself. Because if you really love yourself, you wouldn't be doing these evil things. But when the Almighty come back, easy way or the hard way, and there's going to be no, man's law. Well, man's law said I could do this, and man's law can say, no, my law.
Yeah, and now you can understand why he's going to come back and destroy. He's going to utterly take this place all the way down because it has just allowed anything and everything to go. But they say in God we trust. Who are they talking about?
You know who they're talking about. That guy with the little red horns and pitchfork.
Lord have mercy. It is a lot. You guys, it is a lot. I know it's been a lot to have to deal with and a lot to have to take. But these are the things that are necessary. This is necessary to build a nation, because we have got to address every area as much as we possibly can to be able to let people know what is really, truly going on. Like I said, when your little girl that you done raised to be a virgin and step out there to go to college, you're going to have to educate her. You're going to have to set her down and say, now look, everybody else might be doing this, but let me tell you what Yah said. And let me show you what the Most High said, how we're supposed to live. So if you run into these influencers that are going to try to influence you to do stuff or make you feel a certain way and engage you in different things, you're going to have to take a stand and say, oh, I don't engage in that. I don't do that kind of stuff. You're going to have to. You know, they're away from, even someone that's at home living with you. You're going to have to share that information with them and let them know that these are things are not allowed by the Most High. They're just not allowed. Don't have to. It's time to have a different conversation now. We just can't assume that they know better. That we can't assume anything. We have to have a different conversation with these people now and let them know this is what's happening. This is real. Because somebody showed them. Didn't nobody come out the womb doing that kind of stuff. Somebody introduced you to that. Somebody introduced you to that, and they have exposed you to that type of living, and it is wrong. The Most High does not condone that at all whatsoever.
Well, you have to tell them how precious they are, how precious their body, their mind, and their soul and spirit are. Mm-hmm. When you get that into them, you do it, you know, when they become of the age of understanding, when they start asking questions about mommy, daddy, where do I come from? Mm-hmm. You know, and you tell them, but you tell them also the beautiful side of it, and you tell them also the evil side of it when they get a little older. Mm-hmm. But you have to tell them that, you know, you're holding on to your virginity, male or female, is very important, that you only give it away once. That's it. So you have to be sure that the person that you're going to give it to is somebody that not only do you love, but you're going to be committed to for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
In other words, marriage. Because if you don't tell them that, then when they listen to their friends, because a lot of their friends will go back and tell them, man, I went on about that, man. I went on ahead and I just raw dogged old girl last night. And you mean to tell me that you with Bonquisha and you ain't got her yet? Man, what's wrong with you? And the women, they do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Okay? The girls be just as vicious as the guys. And they and you know, and they encourage each other to go on to lose their virginity.
Yep.
So it has to be put into their brains, deep into the recesses of their brains, that their virginity is highly important and that you only give it away once.
Absolutely. Very well said. Absolutely. Absolutely. And don't feel like you're a freak because everybody else is giving theirs away. Or guess what? Or if you decide to become a practicing virgin again and you have repented, don't feel bad about that either, because there's always room for change. But all of this filthy behavior, we got to stop this.
Hallelujah. You're right.
You got to stop this. You got to stop. We got to stop this right here from happening. And if you're watching a program and you see them doing that, cut that mess off and don't ever watch it again, because they are purposely putting those scenes in those programs to encourage you to do those type of things. And the fact that they would even allow that on television, from the television to the music to all of it, you have to realize that these things are purposely being done to send a subliminal message to your mind that it's okay for you to do this kind of stuff. And that is not Yah. Yah would never do that to his people. He would never allow his people to be tricked like that.
Well, that's where the battle starts at. It starts in the mind. But also, don't forget, he gave us sexuality. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
But sometimes the way that we explain it to people, we tend to be a little bit judgmental. We tend to be a little bit harsh. So we have to be gentle when we talk to people, and especially those who have or are caught in sin like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because, before you know it, you will turn people off towards sex.
That's
and
true.
that's not a good thing either. Because, some people can have I'm this holy person, and look at you, you're just a devil. No, no. You can't do that. Because you have to take the example the way what Yeshua did to Mary Magdalene. He did not condemn her. He told her, don't sin again. And from that point on, she didn't.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I do. I agree with you 100%. That there is a way that we do things, and you can't make one person feel bad because of something that they've experienced, like homosexual or lesbianism, and you out doing all kind of foolishness too. You right out there doing the other kind of sin. It's we all dealing with something, and we have to learn how to help each other get through it so we can make it up out of here. We got to get up out of here because this does not promote righteousness. This is not a land that promotes righteousness. It's just not. It doesn't.
No, we always have to deal with people in the way we want to be dealt with. We want to be dealt with in a kind and gentle manner, and we don't want to leave anybody in worse shape than when we found them. If we can't do anything for them, at least don't harm them. Sometimes it's just better not to say anything. But on the other hand, if you have something to say, make sure that it's something that's positive, affirming, and helpful.
Absolutely. It's going to be a struggle. Either way you cut it, it's going to be a struggle to stop whatever, from eating yourself to death, to smoking yourself to death, to sexing yourself to death, to whatever it is. It's going to be a struggle because you have allowed it to take over. It's going to be a detoxing period, and you're going to have to go through that in order to say, I'm just not going. I remember when I stopped smoking cigarettes, the hardest thing for me was to stop, but I did. When the doctor looked down in my throat and said, I do not like what I see, and that was over 30 years ago. I said, excuse me? He said, that ain't looking right. I do not like what I see. I said, cancer? He said, I just do not like what I... That's all he had to say for me. From that moment on, did I throw the cigarettes in the garbage and never smoke again? No, that is not true. I weaned myself off. And I haven't had a cigarette in 30 years. Now, for some people, they don't have those issues. They enjoy smoking, and smoking is not a sin. I'm just saying. But for me, that was an issue for me, that I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. That was an issue for me. I had to stop doing that. And you can do it. If you can do it. The body wants what it wants. It desires what it desires. It has a mind of its own. But the spiritual mind of you that knows Yah, you have to deny the body the things that it thinks that it wants. And like she said, when you resist the devil, he will flee. It may take a while, but you resist the devil, he will flee. And you might slip up a couple times, but you always have that repentant spirit. Y'all help me. I need you to help me to do this, and you can do it. I believe in you. You can do it. And on that note, we're going to give everybody a last chance to make a comment, and then we're going to end the recording for the day. But I just want to say to everybody, we have a really good thing going here with these men, the men's call and the women's call. It's a really good opportunity for us to be able to heal. And we encourage everybody to partake in this. It's every Tuesday night at 7:30. We talk about all kind of things. And for the women, it has helped us so much to understand who we are and how it works and what we need to do to change ourselves. That this has truly been a blessing. So we encourage you all to come to the classes on Wednesday night. Brother Yerushalayim, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Would you please give the information about the men's call before we end the recording?
Yes, ma'am. The men's call is every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the number for the call is 720-820-1215. That's 720-820-1215, and there's no other numbers needed. And the men's call, by the way, is really good call. We're just trying to get more people on it.
All right.
Please again for me, please.
Hallelujah.
The number again is 720-820-1215. 820-1215.
Yes, and it's helping, because we got to get our older men, our more wiser men, the men with experience to be on the call so that when the younger brothers call in that's engaged in this kind of stuff, that we have the spiritual wisdom and the natural wisdom to say, no, man, we can't live like that. We can't even conduct ourselves like that. We can't even engage in that kind of stuff. Let me show you why. That's the importance of it all. We're trying to heal a nation. Same for the women's call. It's every Tuesday night at 7:30 Eastern Time. And the number is 712-770-4066. 712-770-4066. And the access code for ours is 154-102#. 154-102#. And you know what? Like I said, we go through all kind of things in how to protect ourselves, the things to look for, and how to change ourselves. We working on us. Anybody have any last comments before we end the recording?
Sister, could you please refrain the woman's number on Tuesday?
Yes, the women's call, the phone number it's Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the number is 712-770-4066. 712-770-4066, and the access code is 154-102#. 154-102#. Anybody else have anything to say? You're very welcome. Anybody have anything to say before we end the recording? I think this was a good class. It was needed. It's necessary. We did tape it. It's going up on the internet, because we got to get Israel ready to go home. What the other nations choose to do is their business. If Israel hears it, and we're talking about unconscious and conscious Israel, if they hear it and they choose not to change, that's something that you're willing to do if that's what you want to do. But just know that it's our responsibility to tell you about Yah and what He accepts and what He doesn't. Anybody else have anything to say before we end the recording? No? All right, I'm going to end the